Good blessed Wednesday night, December the 8th, 2021. It's about 8:44 p.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me, my YouTube channel, or anything I do or say is your prerogative. I don't make YouTube videos or speak to get likes or dislikes. I just try to awaken the people. I try to give news where the regular news reporters or the regular news stations or newspaper won't give to the community. Even though I'm living here in Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County, I give it to Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County. It's been pretty peaceful here. You have a few things off and on, but it's been pretty peaceful here. I'm praying for all the recent deaths here. I went to 2 funerals last Saturday. A good brother that I know that was a good friend of mine, and he would always invite me and my 2 youngest daughters to events when he had them. He always introduced my 2 young daughters, even when they was little kids, as the Ivy sisters. He passed away. Brother Brown, may he rest in peace. Me and my family is praying for him and his family. I also like to say I'm praying that Charleston, Missouri stay peaceful the way it is. If something come up where you think you have to pull a gun, call somebody, talk to somebody. You could talk to me. You see what I'm saying? I'll give you some advice that, my mother gave me years ago, and it's been keeping me out of the penitentiary for the past 25 years. But I want to get to Carbondale, Illinois, where my son, Ryan Lamont Johns, was found hung March the 19th, 2021 on a Friday in the Gaslights apartment in the 400 block of North Oakland Street on the 3rd floor in the hallway. You see, the police department, which didn't do a good job in investigation, in the prosecuting attorney's office didn't do a good job in investigation, and the NAACP, which supposed to stand for, let me say that again, supposed to stand for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Carbondale, Illinois chapter is worse than the Ku Klux Klan. They didn't do any investigation in my son's hanging or lynching. But let me tell you this here. It never been in the newspaper. It's been about almost 260 days, if more, if not a couple of days less. But I'm almost sure it's been 260-something days. You can calculate it yourself later on. But what I'm coming to talk to you all about now, the Carbondale Police Department, the NAACP in Carbondale, Illinois, Jackson County, the prosecuting attorney of Jackson County, they would try to tell you that everything is okay, it's not a lot of violence there. But let me tell you something now. Since my son's death, my son was homeless. He stayed in and out of a homeless shelter. After my son's death, a white individual cut up and killed a white female inside the homeless shelter where my son was staying once upon a time. You see what I'm saying? Just last week, a white female, the police, I believe, arrested her. She was shooting in an area where a lot of shooting, in the 600 block of West Cherry Street. She got caught with a gun. I believe she was shooting over there. They just had a shootout today in the 600 block of Poplar Street, around Poplar in the 600 block of Cherry. One individual was apprehended. it's countless of SIU students who have been murdered, and one they called a suicide some years ago, back in 2012. Another one, they said the Indian guy wandered off into the woods in Carbondale, right off, I believe, Route 13, and said he wandered out there and he was drunk. But 4 years later, his mother and his family from Morton Grove, Illinois, the north Chicago suburbs, after 4 years of investigation, they had the money. I don't have the money, but found out a white guy was arrested for murder and robbery. He took a jury trial. Now, when you take a jury trial, that means the jury is the tier factor. They determine whether you guilty or not guilty, not the judge. The judge just sitting there to make sure that the law is upheld. You got a right to a bench trial or a jury trial. A bench trial, the judge is the tier factor. But these jurors, these 12 people, found this white guy guilty for killing this Indian guy that the police said that he wandered out into the woods. The coroner's office said he wandered out into the woods drunk and he just died of hypothermia. But he didn't even drink. A pair of gym shoes was found by his body. His shoes wasn't on him, but the gym shoes that was found by him, guess what? They wasn't his. He didn't have no shirt on. That's the same way my son died in the wintertime. You see what I'm saying? Found hung with money balled up in his hand. And if you got money balled up in your hand with blood on it, in the corner office, pry your hand open and take it out. Where do it go? My 2 young daughters will tell you where it go. It don't go in the body bag. My son's body goes in the body bag if he declared dead. But the money go the same place where his gym shoes went that had blood on it. It should have went in the evidence bag. But the CSI lady, she had no problem with them putting that in there. You know why? Because he didn't commit suicide. Somebody killed him. But let me tell you this here now. Carbondale is so violent now that the building my son's body was found in, take inventory, how many people done moved out. A lot of them are afraid, but except the white female that stay on the 3rd floor and on the Sycamore side, who claims she found my son's t-shirts right by her door. His face mask on the 2nd floor, and outside around the corner, I found a axe that he's supposed to have. But when they seen the axe at 12 something in the morning after midnight, when they seen the axe that he's supposed to have in his hand, you can see light brown, a brand new handle on it. But when she found it, it was duct tape on it. If it was duct tape on it 7 hours later, that means if it's the same one, somebody did something to my son. But let me show you how unsafe it is. You see, now the SIU students, because a white female was shot in the head. And when this white female got shot in the head, the Spanish, I don't know if she's white or Spanish, but a Spanish female and a majority whites, you had a couple of blacks that was marching. The Spanish girl had the bullhorn waiting on the black chancellor to come out. And they was making demands. They said they afraid, but the police, the prosecuting attorney, they don't think that the people is, they say the people ain't afraid. And this black female from the NAACP, she's a female president and a female that runs the criminal department. the one who run the criminal department, she got going hand in hand with the prosecuting attorney and a few other people having basketball games at 11 o'clock at night to 2 o'clock in the morning for 14-year-olds all the way up, I think, to 20-something-year-olds. Get this, to stop the shooting. But take an inventory of how many shootings been happening. They've been doing this since November the 12th or the 19th of 2021. They had 3 or 4 shootings last week, if not more, because, see, they not reporting a lot of them. You see what I'm saying? Then they had one today, a shootout. They caught one individual. You see what I'm saying? Now, the white female that they caught last week for shooting, I'm wondering if they gonna do her just like the white female that was caught spending my son food stamp card 39 days after he was dead. She haven't been arrested or prosecuted or nothing as of yet. Her or her husband, a black individual, called himself a Muslim. They not only had my sons, they prayed. P-R-E-Y. They prey on homeless people. They prey on people that's on drugs. They prey on people that has mental illness. But let me tell you something else. I just got the word that an 18-year-old female last week was beaten and raped by an individual that was staying in the Warming Center in Carbondale, a place where my son was staying too. A place where the people knew my son wasn't suicidal, but they wouldn't speak up. You know why? Because they said they work hand in hand with the police. If they working hand in hand with the police, they working hand in hand with the city. If they working hand in hand with the city and the police, they ain't gonna speak up because the police saying the crime rate is down. And it's not nothing to be afraid of. If it wasn't nothing to be afraid of, why is the students in Carbondale who brings all the revenue to Carbondale, why are they marching and saying that they're afraid, they want more security? See, SIU students who are afraid, students found my son's body. And they told the other students that they found my son's body and they don't believe my son committed suicide. You see what I'm saying? But your school wouldn't publish it. They got a newspaper called The Egyptian. They wouldn't publish my son's death. You know why they ain't gonna publish it? Because they don't want to lose that revenue. They rather have money. They rather have deaths. You see what I'm saying? And continue to get the students to come in. But the students is awakened. And I'm finna come and awaken them again soon when I get these flyers. You see what I'm saying? Right now I'm offering $500. That's all I can afford. But let me tell you something. God is working. It's one black female in that town that works in City Hall. I give her credit for caring about my son's death and showing that she cared about it. They work in City Hall. One black female. The other ones, everybody else in City Hall, I look at them just like I look at Adolf Hitler. If they went in the bunker and took themselves out, it wouldn't be no loss to me because they don't care about the people in Carbondale. They don't care about the non-sellout blacks. They don't care about the whites that's suffering, nor the blacks that's suffering. And it's one black individual guy that's an NAACP member. I give it to him. The rest of the NAACP, I look at them like I look at the Ku Klux Klan. Now, there are other whites and blacks in Carbondale that don't have no position or no connection to the city that's doing their best to help me because they know my son that commit suicide. But if you go into Carbondale, Carbondale is not safe. Carbondale do not have no leaders, black or white leaders that care anything about homeless people. And that's including the people that's running the Warming Center. People that's running the shelter, they don't care about them people. All they care about is a paycheck. You see, anytime you tell me that you know my son didn't commit suicide and you running the Warming Center, You running the Warming Center and you tell me you know my son didn't commit suicide and he wasn't suicidal, that he was trying to help he was trying to change his life, and you tell me, well, don't mention my name because of the police? You don't believe in Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said some of us gonna lose our jobs, we gonna lose our freedom, and we gonna lose our life standing up for the truth. He also said, injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. You see, God is shaking up Carbondale right now. His wrath is tearing Carbondale up. You got a police chief that don't give a doggone about what's going on in Carbondale. You got a prosecuting attorney, and he's Spanish now. Don't give a doggone about what's going on. He told me when I talked to him about my son, before they closed his case and called it suicide, he told me I was wasting my time. The 35 or 40 minutes that I was talking to him about the police wasn't doing their job and about the death of my son, he said I could have, what I told him in those 35 or 40 minutes, this is a newly elected Spanish prosecuting attorney who said he's from 71st and Marshfield in Chicago. I believe he's a gangbanger. He was a gangbanger when he was in Chicago. I believe he's a gangbanger now. His mentality is like a gangbanger. But he told me I'd have been better off talking to a clerk in Walmart. And the chief of police told me and my 2 young daughters that my son had a bunch of demons in him. Then when we approached him and mentioned it in City Hall in the city council meeting, this is what he said. He told me later, he said, I didn't say that he had a lot of demons in him. I said he was fighting a lot of demons. If he was fighting a lot of demons or had a lot of demons in him, he was fighting you as the chief of police. More than likely, you are the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He was fighting people like the prosecuting attorney who won't prosecute the white female teacher that worked for the Carbondale Rebound High School, who had my son food stamp card, though won't prosecute the black guy that called himself a Muslim, who had my son's food stamp card, who have other people's food stamp cards, and they won't prosecute him. They won't even arrest him. But all you got to do is just keep abreast of what's going on in Carbondale. People inform me about it because the news won't put it in there. People is getting raped. People is getting robbed. People is scared to come out of their houses in Carbondale. And the police, the prosecuting attorney, the NAACP, and all of them black preachers and white preachers in Carbondale, they don't care nothing about them people. All you got to do is look. Why is them people afraid? Why is the students out there marching? The students got 2 types of police. The students got the SIU police and the Carbondale police. Only one was so-called investigating my son's hanging or lynching was the Carbondale police. And they didn't do no good job. They didn't even investigate. All they looked was for suicide. But I'm gonna end it like this here, y'all. Brian Lamont Johns didn't commit suicide. That white woman that had my son's food stamp card and her black husband who had my son's food stamp card and other homeless people food stamp card, they should be arrested and they should be locked up. She shouldn't be no school teacher. That black guy shouldn't be working for none of them shelters or none of them, the Center for Empowerment and Justice or anything else the government has out there because they preying on the blacks. But y'all preyed on the wrong one. People ask me, is I'm scared of this Negro that call himself a Muslim. I ain't scared of him. Am I scared of this Grand Sheik over there? You know what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about any Grand Sheik. I'm talking about this dark-skinned Negro that drive a Lincoln Continental who said my son wasn't nothing but a drug addict. Negro, you a dope dealer. You ain't no grand sheik. And I'm coming back down there. Try to put something around my neck, Negro. Peace be still.